Welcome back to another video, guys. Today we are going to be working on the B20. We're going to be putting the B20 on the engine dolly, that way we can install the flywheel, clutch, and pressure plate. With that being said, let's get straight into it. This is where we're putting the flywheel, right here on the crank. Speaking of the flywheel bolts are 12.17 millimeters and the pressure plate bolts are 10 millimeter 12 point. I got an XTD 15-pound flywheel as well as a XTD stage 2 clutch and pressure plate. It comes together in the package. I also have the part numbers for the pressure plate right here, the OEM ones if you want them, the flywheel, and we also have the pilot bearing, which we're going to be throwing into the flywheel right here. We also have the clutch alignment tool, which we're going to use in a bit, the throw out bearing, which we'll throw on the fork when we get to that, the fittings that we're going to tighten to the back of the block for the oil catch can. Now I have the pilot bearing and we're going to tap it in lightly into the flywheel each corner. The pilot bearing in right here. Let's start torquing these bad boys on. Put a little bit of Loctite on the flywheel bolts before I put them in, but I'm just gonna hand tighten them at first and then torque them to their specs. Place it to 19 foot-pounds to start off, and then work our way up from there. Alright, so we're able to torque it down 4 ways. The first one being 19, the second being 38 foot-pounds, the third being 57, and the final one being 76 foot-pounds. So the flywheel is on, good to go. Now we're gonna spray it with brake clean, get any residue or fingerprints, and I got some Loctite right here to get all that off, so that's not there no more. It's a clean surface when we put the clutch on, and I recommend having something so that the flywheel doesn't move, but this obviously I recommend getting like a screwdriver or something like that. But other than that, it's torqued on. We're gonna spray it with some brake cleaner and then start torquing down the clutch, the pressure plate, get it aligned straight, and all good to go. Now that we have the clutch on, we're going to add the pressure plate, and then we're going to hand tighten the bolts first. Probably going to put Loctite on these as well. Pressure plate is on, the bolts are hand tightened only. We're gonna do 4 increments because it's 19 foot-pounds, so we're gonna start off with 5, then 10, then 14, and then finally 19. But after that, everything's gonna be mounted on. So the pressure plate is finally torqued to spec. We're gonna take out the alignment tool just to make sure everything checks out. It's all good. Now the next thing we're gonna do is add these fittings on to the back of the block. These are for the oil catch can. That's gonna be located where the battery usually goes. Alright, so we got them just hand tight for right now. She's good to go. These are hand tightened. And then we have the pressure plate torqued down to the flywheel and the flywheel torqued down to the crank. So that's gonna be a wrap for today's video. Make sure you guys stay tuned because we got a lot more coming. But with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.